Hey guys, welcome to another episode of Toka Moments. My name is Toka Makinwa. I'm back like I never left. Yeah, I left for 1 week, but I'm back. I hope you guys missed me. Today on the vlog, we're going to be doing something very interesting. I am going to be sharing lots of childhood stories, how I grew up, because something happened that totally terrified me. So before I left London, I went into a store and there was this kid that was just behaving badly. Like, I'm not the kind of person that would sort of shame a parent, because at the end of the day, I don't have a kid yet, and I know that there's no hard or fast rule to being a good mother, regardless of the environment that they have come out from. If their parents are stern, if they're nice, if they're lenient, if they're sort of strict parents, sometimes kids will just turn out the way they want to turn out. So at the store on this particular day, my dog is having a fit, and I'm totally just going to ignore her. Yes, Spice, bark all you want. I'm totally not going to answer you right now because you're just being silly. That's the kind of mother that I would be, by the way. So, this particular child was just rolling on the floor, crying, throwing a tantrum, and the mother just carried on like the child wasn't there, like knocking his head on the floor, and the whole store was quiet, and I thought, all right, play nice. I even tried to even give him my hand, get up from the floor, what's wrong with you? And the mother just looked at me and said, leave him, that's how he behaves, like I don't even have his time. And she carried on like nothing was happening. That particular day, I actually had a silent respect for parents, because Lord knows I'm not that patient. First to start with, hey, I know already that I'm going to be the strict parent. When I think about how I was raised, it's so funny how when you look at kids these days, and it's almost like it's a negotiation with their parents. Parents have to negotiate with the kids. You do this, I'll do that. You give me this, I'll give you that. You give me good grades, I'll buy you that gift. You do your homework on time, I'll let you watch television. Or you do this and they say, what did I tell you? You're being naughty. Do you remember what I told you? And it's almost like it's a conversational style, which is quite interesting, because it's also interesting to look at the mind of a child and see how kids can process this information and also do what they're told. Shout out to those who were born in the 80s. Okay, I'm an 80s kid, and in my time, parents did not negotiate. I don't know about you, but in my days, the good old spanking worked. My parents did not spare the rod. The rod broke on my back. They caned the life out of me. They caned the evil out of my life. My mom just caned it for free. She was just someone we used to call Margaret Thatcher. She was horrible. At some point, I thought she was a witch. Like, I was convinced that this woman was a witch. When I look back today, I'm very thankful for those little things that, even in my adult years, I kind of have them with me. I.e., as a kid, I wasn't allowed to eat at a stranger's house. Stranger also included my cousins, by the way. There was no sleepover as a child. And even till date, as old as I am, I don't know how to sleep in people's houses. Like, my friends would testify, I'm not very disposed to, hey, I'll spend the night at yours, because there's just something. I live by myself, but there's just something about that upbringing. I was just never allowed to spend the night at anyone's home. I don't know why they were so paranoid back then. I don't know what they thought would happen, but we just didn't have that culture. So even at my cousins, I can count how many times I actually spent the night over. I can count how many times I actually ate, even in their houses. Would go to places, and just the look. How parents those days, they didn't used to talk. Body language, eye language. The eyes could speak when I was growing up. I kid you not. I grew up in a home where the eyes could talk. The eyes knew when it was time to go to bed. The eyes knew when you were going to get a spanking. The eyes knew when you had been out of line. The eyes would tell you when you are literally in soup. Just before she even says, wait for me, just the way she looks at you will kind of tell you that, today you have entered your own. And kids today, try and cut eye for them. You find the child telling mom, is there something wrong with your eye? Are you okay? In our days, they born you well. Ask her if there's something wrong with the eye. No, by all means, ask her. We were not allowed to open party packs. You go to parties. My upbringing was crazy. My mom didn't want us to socialize so much to the point that we would have a birthday party. Invitation card reads 2 o'clock. This woman will go to work, go to the shop, run around doing everything she's running around doing, and then she will show up at 6 o'clock and say, let's still go and greet them. It took me a long time to realize that she did that on purpose. She would make sure we eat in the house before we go to any stupid goddamn party. And that party, we're always late, so that we would not get there and embarrass her. She will come 5 o'clock, an hour to the end of the party, so that you just have 1 hour to play with the celebrant and then you're going home. And even when it's time to go home, she doesn't talk. She just starts to shake her leg and hold your hands or tell you to sit down on her lap. And when she says, in-law, if you like, start to cry. I want to stay there. Which kids do nowadays? I don't want to go. In front of the people, she'll be like, hey, yeah, don't worry, you come and play with her tomorrow. I promise you, you will come after school tomorrow. It's a promise. You know, like, okay. As soon as you enter the house, hey, the caning you will receive that night will remind you of how comfortable your house is. She will remind you that she has TV in your house, you have a bed, you have food. So what is in somebody else's house that you want to die there, you don't want to come home? And things like that. I look back in my life today and I am appreciative of it. We're not allowed to eat our party packs unless we showed it to mommy. Even if you showed it to daddy, it was not enough. Mommy had to see it. She had to see what was in that party pack. Sometimes she would throw it away if her mind is not clean with the people that were doing something. I don't know why they were that crazy, but I remember then, if I opened, even if it's sweet, and the nanny just even told my mom that I ate something from it without showing it to her, I'm dead. I was caned one time in front of the whole class because my teacher in school wrote that Toke is a good student, but she talks too much. Little did they know that I was going to end up, talking for a living because I get paid to talk. Yes, I can say that. But back then, hey, if you came second in class, you'll be crying. You'll be crying. You won't want to go home because she will ask you, the person that came first, does the person have 2 heads? Does the person have 3 heads? Why are you coming second? Or you can be singing all this secular music, rapping. You just say to them, will you shut up your mouth? When it comes to your books, you don't know, especially if you're not coming home with good grades. On my way home that day after I saw that kid, I thought about how I was brought up. And I said a silent prayer for my mom. She wasn't around for so long. And even my mom who raised us was the same. I mean, heck, they're sisters. So the apple did not fall too far from the tree. But I appreciated the fact that I was brought up in an environment where we understood body language. I could never be that kid that would cry on the floor. I just couldn't be. It's just not possible. I literally just want to die. That's exactly what you want to do. You just want to die. And there's so many stories you can think about. I'm sure when you think about your upbringing as well, there were certain things that your mother did or your parents did. I mean, I'll leave you guys with this one. When we got back from school, there was a routine. Yeah? You get back from school, you have your lunch, you do your homework, and you serve siesta. Even if you were not feeling sleepy, it was a rule at home. You served siesta. You go to bed after your homework. And then back then, the TVs only came on, I think, at 4 o'clock, where you have that multicolored screen and that and then national anthem, and of course you have all the programs. So you were allowed to watch TV for only 1 hour during the week because you had to shower and get ready for bed. If you try her and not serve siesta and you are caught, you are in soup. Or if you try and turn on the TV before it's time to turn on the TV. I remember back then, my mom would seize all the cables just so that we wouldn't watch TV or watch cable. And when you have boys in the house, so my older ones would connect it in a way that, we shall find one wire, connect it. And then every time she got back, she always knew that we had watched the TV. Because we all have to pick pin. Who remembers how to pick pin? That's punishment where you're literally putting one finger on the floor and your leg is flying in the air. Yes. And then she would cane us and flog us. And we used to wonder how she found out until one day I was coming up the stairs and I caught her. So what she would do is she would literally put her hand, on the vent. The space on the TV where heat can come out from. She would put her hand on it. If it's hot, then she would know that we had turned on the TV. Kids these days are just very special. The way they're brought up is just very special. Shout out to the parents who did not spare the rod. I didn't turn out badly. And I'm definitely going to cane my kids. I don't care what Western world says or what people feel, but my children have to understand sign language, body language, eye language. If they born you well, ask me, Mom, is your eye paining you? If they even as much as born you twice, once you see my body language and you don't catch the gist, I feel sorry for my unborn children. I haven't had you yet, but I feel sorry for you. That's all I'm going to be sharing. And salute to all the mothers out there and all the fathers. You guys try. Please remember to subscribe to my YouTube channel and follow me on Twitter. I am a Turkstar with the double R. Until I come your way again, I will chat with you on the next episode of Talk and Moments.
My money, my body, now your own. Oh, baby. 30 billion.